Spider-Man. What a good hero. Oh god, what the hell is he doing? If you walked up and asked me what my favorite Spider-Man story of all time is, I would say the Black Suit. And that's not just because I'm a black slime. I eat a lot of meat, that's why I'm blue. I find the concept of the symbiote absolutely fascinating. Not only is it a steroid abuse metaphor, but it also shows how powerful Spider-Man can be with those sacred words that Uncle Ben taught him. And it all ends with a final battle with a shadow version of himself, Venom! There's been many different interpretations of the Venom suit, but Insomniac claimed that they were going to be the most unique of all of them. Considering that they didn't even have the Black Suit in Spider-Man 1 and in Miles Morales, that's some big shoes to fill. Slowly over time, we got more information about how they were going to do the story. For starters, Eddie Brock was not going to be Venom. Really? Again? The Black Suit would change over time, and they wanted to use this as a big driving force for Spider-Man 3. Eventually, the game came out, and did it meet expectations? We're about to find out. I'm Mr. Galaxy the Galaxy Cat, and today we're going to be reviewing Spider-Man 2. Keep in mind, I'm going to be talking about the PlayStation 5 version of the game because it was recently ported over to PC, at least at the time of the recording, that is. But without further ado, members of Team Shadow, video game enthusiasts, both old and new alike, want to see this game's worthy of collection or not? Let's get started. The story of Marvel's Spider-Man 2 goes as follows. Harry Osborn is looking at the healing tank that he's going to be trapped in for the next 2 years. As his father approaches him, he's worried about his future, but Mr. Osborn assures him that he will never let him go, as the symbiote comes out to attach himself to his body, and slowly healing over time over the next 2 years. Cut to 2 years later, where Peter Parker and Miles Morales are at a college. Peter's got himself a new teaching gig, while Miles is furthering his education. However, that is until some sand particles appeared and... no one tell Anakin. The Sandman is destroying New York City, so it's up for Miles Morales and Spider-Man to save the day. As they do so with their fancy new gadgets, Sandman warns them that they're not safe. Kraven slowly turns New York City into his hunting grounds, capturing villains like the Scorpion, Jaga, and Mr. Negative. As we're trying to figure out who he is, Harry comes back, and he seems better than ever. To celebrate, we go to Coney Island. Well, Kraven of course tries to attack Tombstone. We try to save the civilians as we do, but right when we're about to fail, Harry comes out of freaking nowhere! What the hell? When did Harry get powers? And turns out, thanks to his new treatment, he's able to transform himself into... they never call him Agent Venom, so I call him Harry Boy. After saving Tombstone, Harry Boy and Spider-Man decide to do some tests to see the limits of this suit. But before they can continue, Dr. Kurtz Connors has mysteriously disappeared. Mary Jane searches for him, only to discover that Kraven the Hunter is turning him into the lizard once more. Spider-Man and Harry Boy try to stop him, only to fail, as Spidey dies in the arms of Kraven. At that moment in time, Harry Boy decides to dedicate the rest of his life to save Dr. Curtis Connors and stop Kraven the Hunter from taking the lives of anyone else. However, the suit slowly recognizes that Peter is in more danger than Harry and decides to bond onto him, becoming the most powerful being on the planet, the Black Suit Spider-Man. We didn't go back to the Foundation to try to give Harry his suit back, but for some reason, the suit doesn't want to return. So we decide to find Dr. Curtis Connors to get the suit off of him, but you know, he's too busy being a scaly right now. So we develop a cure, go after the lizard, and save the day. But it's not over yet. Dr. Connors reveals that the suit is called a symbiote, and after trying to reattach itself to the meteorite, we find out that's a freaking alien! We already knew that, though. Khan suggests taking off the suit, but the effects of the symbiote are slowly turning him more distant. We go home, take a nap, as we're completely oblivious to Kraven and his men surrounding our neighborhood. As Mary Jane tries to get them away, Peter is mysteriously disappeared. and he's attacking them like a savage. While that's happening, Miles is trying to stop Kraven's forces head on, only to be tricked and captured. Mo tried to escape, only for Kraven's forces greeting us to some sort of tournament. Like a tournament of power? No, to fight Mr. Negative. However, since Miles is extremely broken in this game, he easily defeats Mr. Negative. Kraven tells him to kill, but Miles says no.
Nah, I'ma do my own thing.
So Mr. Negative escapes to search for Spider-Man. We then head to Kraven's arena to brutally murder each and every one of his victims! These are not soldiers anymore, these are freaking victims! Kraven then finally challenges the Spider-Man, only for him to get his ass beaten. But as the symbiote's influence keeps slowly corrupting Peter, he's about to kill Kraven, only for Miles to stop him in the nick of time. After an epic final battle, Spidey and Miles finally get the symbiote off of him, and the end game approaches. And unfortunately, this is where the story falls apart. I'm speedrunning this part because story's taking freaking forever, but the symbiote breaks out, bonds with Harry Boy once more, but he becomes Venom instead. He then kills Kraven the Hunter. Yeah! And the symbiote invasion begins, but it doesn't really feel like an invasion until like near the end of the game. Spider-Man gets jumped by the symbiotes. Mr. Negative returns. They hop inside Peter's mind. They break Spidey free from the symbiote hive mind and... Holy sh**, is that the anti-Venom suit? Now to come, monster. Team Spider-Man return back to base to come up with a plan to find the meteorite and destroy the symbiotes once and for all. So we do that. Venom tries to convince us to join the side of evil again, but we fail. Miles almost gets a black suit. And there's a motherfucking King in Black reference! But with the power of plot, we defeat Venom, only for him to slowly die on the inside. We bring him back to life, but the sickness that Harry has gone terminal, so he has to go to the hospital. So the story ends with a foreshadowing of the Green Goblin. While in a post-credits scene, Osborn talks to the previous villain, Dr. Octopus. So overall, the story was very strong, right up until the end game. First off, I want to get the elephant out of the room. Have you noticed that I didn't even talk about Miles at all in the story, aside from a few plot points where he shows up? That's because I feel like Miles' story is not as important as Peter's story. With how awesome Miles' story was, I was hoping that he would develop his character more. And yes, they do that with Mr. Negative, but aside from that, really only the side quests develop him more. I feel like this is not a Lupin Rangers versus Pat Rangers situation, where the show was supposed to be about two sides of the same coin, only for them to mainly focus on the Lupin Rangers, with the Pat Rangers being sidelined. And as you can guess, the Lupin Ranger of this game is Spider-Man himself, with the Pat Ranger of this game being Miles Morales. Plus, how the hell could you fumble an ending so badly? Now hold on, the ending of the game isn't bad, but let me explain myself here. You had such an amazing build-up with the Black Suit, being the reason why Kurt Connors doesn't have an arm, slowly evolving over time, and what a spectacular way that Miles integrated himself into the story where Spidey gets the symbiote suit off. But the 3 episodes I had the Black Suit on, I never want to put on ever again. I felt that Pete's evolution was a bit too rushed. I'll go more in detail about this later, but basically there's a mode that you get in the Black Suit where you become a monster. The suit changes to reflect that, and it's cool, don't get me wrong, but the moment where you learn more about the symbiote becomes the default Black Suit, and I feel like that the story would have been cooler if when we did the symbiote rage mode thing, we didn't get that suit. We just had like the normal Black Suit, and after the symbiote's revealed, we get the symbiote suit. I just think it would make the review a lot more impactful and cool, but I guess that's just me nitpicking. Because I just had to speedrun the end to get the Venom! Everyone loves Venom! Venom! Because of that, we really don't get enough time to develop Venom as a character. We get snippets of it in the beginning part where the symbiote shows Harry a vision of what they're gonna do to the world, but aside from that, the symbiote invasion did not feel like an invasion at all. I was hoping they'd do something like the Web of Shadows where there'll be symbiote stuff everywhere, and we do get that on like the side quest missions of the symbiote stuff, but near the end of the game, the last 15 to 30 minutes of the game, New York City is covered in symbiote goo, the sky is all dark and gray, and I was really hoping that Venom would do this right after he kills Kraven, but it doesn't even show up long enough to warrant that kind of atmosphere. But overall, I'm gonna give this story a B rank. It's not bad. It's still high quality. It's just the last part where they fumbled the bag a bit. S rank. Look, do I really need to say anything else about the graphics of the game? Spider-Man 1 was already beautiful. Spider-Man Miles Morales was basically the same thing but snow. But here, I feel like I'm in an actual fucking comic book. It's just absolutely breathtaking. And need I say more about the black suit? Let me talk about the black suit, please, 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 please. Let me talk about it. Oh god, look, it looks like armor. It's so cool, and it changes over time. And whoa! I already like swinging around New York City in the previous 2 games, but with this one, I just don't want to stop. From the missions, to the side quests, to Mysterio's stuff, to even just swinging around for the hell of it looking for crime. The city is just so fucking beautiful. Do I really need to say anything else about it? No, I don't. Which is why it's gonna get the S rank. We move on now. Content's up next, and if you like collecting stuff in the previous 2 games, I'm pleased to report that's the same thing in Spider-Man 2, but it's also not much while giving a lot back to the player. It's a bit confusing, let me explain. First off, let's get the elephant out of the room. How long is the game? Truth be told, an average playtime will be around 17 hours, with 100% completion being around 28 hours. In addition to that, you also get the side quests, such as Mysterio's missions and Flint Marco's memories. There's also some smaller side quests I really like, with some of them dealing with some NPCs that you won't ever come back to again once you complete their missions, but they leave such a lasting impact. Like a grandfather who slowly loses his mind to dementia and is slowly walking towards the door to death. And Howard, an NPC that you interact with in Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales, kicking the bucket after you set his pigeons free. It's missions like these that really make me love Spider-Man. I liked some of the DLC missions and the base missions from Miles Morales and in the original game, but oh god, these missions nearly made me cry, man. There's also promotional material in this game, because there were 42 cute Spider-Bots that you can look for, which I'm sure ties into something in Spider-Verse. Seriously though, am I canon to Spider-Verse now? But of course, those are just small little potatoes compared to the meat that is the costumes. Okay, so the original game had over 50 suits to collect. Miles Morales had over 20 suits to collect. So how many suits will Spider-Man 2 have? Oh boy! I kid you not. There are a total of 80 suits in the game. Around 40 for each Spider-Man, and this is including the DLC suits. But in addition to that, some of them come with at least 3 alternative styles, which means you technically have a costume list of around 320 suits to collect! Oh my swells, that's freaking amazing! That's gonna go great with the abilities you can collect! There are no abilities in Spider-Man 2. Thick. I don't understand why they did this. You had such a promising way of customization in Spider-Man Miles Morales. And yes, a lot of the abilities you can use in Spider-Man 1 were just flat out broken, overpowered as balls. How's it going, Electro Fists? But damn it, man, it was still fun. It was so cool customizing my own personal Spider-Man. Whether that be for just in general purposes or for challenge purposes, it was cool, man. It was cool. And while I didn't really change much in terms of the suit mods in Miles Morales, it was still cool, man. So why the hell would you remove the abilities in this game? Yes, I know. there's some abilities that are still here in the form of the side gadgets that you can use. But me likey fun abilities! Me likey fun abilities! And on top of that, something I neglected to mention in my Miles Morales reviews, because I just flat out forgot about it, is the fact that they removed like a lot of the unique web shooters in the game. I thought some of them would have come back. Maybe you could swap them every now and then for your own unique playstyle, but nope. Granted, I am happy that I'm not scrolling through a wheel half the time during combat, but that was kind of fun when you really think about it. Slowing down time, scanning your environment, be like, which web should I use? Okay, this one, go, go, go! Something about that was just fun, man. And to have that option removed was just kind of disheartening. Now, it wasn't completely removed because, again, you still have 4 gadget slots and you have 4 web shooting slots. So the web shooting gimmicks and abilities are not entirely gone, and you can still swap them out from Venom abilities to evolve Venom abilities for Miles, and the base gadgets to Spider-Man's symbiote powers for Spider-Man. But I feel like half of the charm of the first 2 games was the abilities. Now, granted, they were rushed. They were completely rushed. I guarantee you, if Sony did not rush them, they would add the abilities in non-stop. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. I'm just gonna get to the grading. I'm gonna give the content as a whole an A rating. Next up is the bread and butter of all video games, the gameplay. If you played the last 2 games, you'll notice that we've gone back to the combat system of Spider-Man 1. Huh? The way the focus ball operates is completely nerfed. Huh? There are no abilities in the game when you unlock new costumes. Huh? Oh, wait, we already know about that. And despite Peter getting the better upgrade story-wise, gameplay-wise, Miles Morales has become completely broken! What?! I'm gonna go off on a bit of a tangent here. I don't mind the fact that they nerfed the focus ball. I believe it was a bit slight overpowered in the first game, but why change the combat system? Okay, for those of you who don't know, in Miles Morales, every time you get a 15 combo or more, you can do a finishing attack. While in this game, it's back to the focus ball again. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not really an insignificant change. It's still fun Spider-Man experience, you know, go for it if you like it, but I really like the combat system of Miles Morales because it felt like an evolution from the first game. There's something about trying to keep up your combos to go as high as possibly can to unleash a finisher that just feels so rewarding, while here, I just beat up some enemies or do some tricks like an instant win button, just like in the first game. But who cares really? On combat system that's based off of the first game, not Miles Morales, that's expected because Miles Morales is a spin-off game, not a mainline game, even though it technically plays an integral part of the story. And since the combat is practically the same and still satisfying as ever, we can move on to music, right? Right? I'm going to talk about Spider-Man first because I got a lot more to say about Miles' upgrade, but for Spider-Man, at first you get his technological base attacks, you know, the spider arms that you get from unlocking the Avengers suits. And once you unlock the Black Suit, you get access to Spider-Man's Black Suit moves. Afterwards, you get one more ability, that being the Anti-Venom suits, where you get 2 new symbiote-based attacks. I'm going to be honest here. I feel like that the symbiote-based attacks are more powerful than the base attacks that you get in Spider-Man. Rightfully so, but if you ask me, they got nothing on Miles. Who pissed in this boy's cereal? What the hell happened here? When they say evolved Venom abilities, I don't think they meant for you to fuck the game over sideways. All of Miles' Venom's attacks return from Miles Morales, and they operate practically the same they do in the game, with the difference being they have the recharge mechanic that Spider-Man has. But who the hell said that he can become a Super Saiyan? Okay, so Spider-Man's upgrades, I get. They're logical. They're pretty overpowered, but you know, you could still have them recharge over time. But Miles, however, the evolved Venom abilities, oh my god, so let me just put this in perspective. Do you know the Mysterio challenges? They function like the Taskmaster challenges, but slightly easier. First time going through them off screen, I thought it was a pretty good time. A little bit difficult even, but around my second or third attempt, I would usually get the first rank mission bonus thing where you get all the... I'm sorry, I'm going off script a bit for this because the second time I tried it just for fun, after getting all the Venom abilities, 30 seconds. The reason why they're so overpowered is Miles has a side upgrade where he can use one of his abilities twice, and he can collect bioelectricity to recharge his Venom abilities faster. Which means the dude with the alien that boosts your power is somehow weaker than a boy who got bitten by a spider drinking Monster Energy. Miles absolutely breaks the game! No wonder they gotta nerf him with that god-awful suit. I mean, me personally, I actually like the suit. At least the top half of it, but god, the bottom part's so ugly. Although I really wish Insomniac would bring back the proper stealth challenges. Okay, actually, MJ's stealth segments are not that bad in this game. I'm one of the few people who actually likes the stealth segments in Spider-Man 1, but I feel like with that little tease that they gave us near the end of MJ's missions, they could have gone more with it, and that's what they did with this one. We went from Silent Hill to Metal Gear Solid in the span of 3 games. Because ever since the first game, MJ realized that she was acting too much like Princess Peach and decided to become a Daisy main in Smash Bros. And now has a way to defend herself. She can web up enemies, which technically defeats them, but halfway through the game, you get a taser upgrade. And then you can shot them to death. And honestly, even though I enjoyed the first game's stealth segments a lot more, I had way more fun in MJ's stealth segments in this game. But other than that, it's just standard Spider-Man affair. You go around, you swing through the city, you beat up the bad guys, you save the day. Wahoo! You're also Superman. New to the web swing mechanic is the glide feature. Now, I thought the swing was already fantastic, but they made it even better in this game without the glide feature. But the glide feature is just that extra little cherry on top. You can swing around, and then, boom! You can float, and you can get some really good distance with it too. And if you catch yourself with some wind, you can fly pretty freaking high up. It doesn't really do anything in terms of combat, but I'm mentioning it here because it is integral to the swing mechanic of the game, and it is so freaking fun. And that's what this game is. It's just really freaking fun, which is why I'm gonna give the gameplay as a whole, you know what? An S. Spider-Man 1 made me really feel like I was Spider-Man. Spider-Man Miles Morales was a step in the right direction in terms of combat. And Spider-Man 3, while they went back to the first game's combat system, it's still really fun. Finally, we come to the thing that everyone's gonna be expecting. I'm gonna say the music is good, but I don't really remember it. Shut up! Shut up, heathen child! This is gonna be a shock to most of you, but I actually like this game's music a lot more than the first two. Now, just a bit of a reminder for those of you who have not seen my original reviews. I thought that the first game's music felt like generic superhero themes. But with this game's soundtrack, I found myself humming to it a lot more off-screen than I did with Spider-Man's main theme. Like, hell, listen to Kraven's theme. Fighting Venom. Or even the best music in the game, fighting yourself! If one of you makes a reference to Sillyberry, I'm gonna fucking delete your comment. Now, that doesn't change my mind about the fact that I think most of the music in this game sounds like a generic superhero theme, but The game has its own identity. The soundtrack finally doesn't feel like a mediocre, generic superhero film music, and finally, I'm giving it a grade higher than a C rank. I'm giving it a B rank.
You should have, like, right before you give your final verdict, you say, well, word from our guests.
And now a word
and then, like,
sponsors.
you can have your final rating, and at the bottom is just ours.
Okay, well, in that case, how would you grade Spider-Man 2?
I'd give it, like, a C.
Have you guys even played this game?
No, I only seen playthroughs of it.
What about you, Kaiba?
I've only played one, like, Spider-Man game, and it was like like a Spider-Man 3 for the PSP.
So you're judging that for this game?
Actually, if I were to judge that, I'd give it I'd give that a C. But this, just because of the graphics and like the cool particle effects and shit, I'll give it a B.
What about you, Sev? What would you give this game?
Yeah, I'd give it a B. I like the graphics and it looks pretty fun.
Yeah. This was one number off from getting a S rank. Honestly, if you want to see my thoughts in a nutshell, just look at the title of this review. I believe that it's both better than Spider-Man 1, but also worse than Spider-Man 1. Now, I can forgive some of the web shooters being removed because some of them feel quite the same, but the costumes abilities? I feel like the abilities what helped made Spider-Man 1 stand out a bit more, because we never really had a Spider-Man game where the costumes will unlock new powers. It made collecting them a lot more fun, and it made each and every one of them feel slightly more unique. And Miles Morales enhanced that with the suit mods, something that I hope would come over to Spider-Man 2. I feel that in exchange for these side upgrades that we've been getting throughout the game, both on Miles' side and Spider-Man's time, we kinda lost what made the abilities felt special. But at the same time, I still can't say this is a bad game. Very far from it. I just don't feel like that it's better than the first. Everything is bigger in Spider-Man 2. Bigger maps, bigger upgrades, bigger costume sizes, and a bigger story with bigger stakes. The only thing that isn't bigger though is my satisfaction. Spider-Man 1 took a while for me to complete, but it was very satisfying getting that platinum trophy off screen. But with this game, I don't know. Even after completing everything, I felt a little bit empty inside. Perhaps it's just me, and my expectations being so high because of my love for the Black Suit Saga. Perhaps I should have gone easy on this game. Perhaps we all should have gone easy on this game. Perhaps, maybe next time, Sony should let Insomniac cook. I'm Mr. Galaxy, the Galaxy's Cat, and this is my review of Spider-Man 2. Do you agree with my thoughts or do you disagree with my thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. But until then, peace out, members of Team Shadow. Please remember to stay catty. Live life your own way. Stay safe through these trying times. I'll see you all in our castle. Until next time, adieu, everybody. Hey, Kaiba, you mentioned earlier that you based your review on Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
The HD remake's looking pretty good right now.
What the fuck is that?